Hey guys, Brickin' It here and welcome back to another video. For this video, I wanted to take a closer look at the Ninjago theme, in particular the new Series 13 sets, reviewing Journey to Skull Dungeon, as well as trying to figure out how to play the board game. What do I think of it? Well, let's find out. So for this week's review, I thought I'd take a look at one of the bigger sets that I've ever actually bought from Ninjago, which is this set 71717, which is Journey to Skull Dungeons, which is one of the new Ninjago sets they're doing at the moment, based off of Season 13, where they're actually, no one knows what Season 13 is about yet. People think it might be that they're stuck in a board game, but I kind of think it's more just because it's a D&D style environment that they decided to kind of create a D&D style actual board game, which I think is a really cool idea, and it's kind of shaken up the Ninjago kind of popularity a little bit more, so I think that's really cool. But annoyingly, the QR code doesn't work for this set. It doesn't actually tell you how to play the game. It has some really bad instructions on how to play it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the minifigures, I'm going to tell you what I think of the actual build, and then I'm going to have a go at actually explaining how the board game works. Okay, so starting off with our first ninja, we have Jay here, or as he's known for this series, Hero Jay. He has a clip on the back of this kind of pauldron thing here, which is pretty cool. Lots of detail in here. I'm going to have to take a lot of the actual items off so you can see how this character looks, because it's got so much detail. It's really cool. So we'll start by removing this Morning Star, which is actually made with little triangle pieces onto a just a 1x1 modified brick on all sides, which is pretty cool. Then it has a gold chain and a kind of lightsaber piece with the ends on each side. Very nice. The printed shield is awesome. They all have the same printed shield in this set. There is also a gold lion one, but it's not available in this set. So showing you his facial expressions, that first is the moody one, and then he has a very kind of happy, jolly one. I do like these faces. I think they're really cool. So let me take off the head as well and the actual arm piece, and then you can see the printing as well. So as you can see, he's got one arm that's a different colour. It's pretty nice. Nice silver printing. His legs have nice printing on as well. And then he does have printing on the back too. So very cool minifigure. Really nice. Don't have hair pieces, but they have so much accessories that kind of doesn't matter with these characters. Going on to the next minifigure, we have Hero Naya, which I think that's how you spell it. Naya. And again, she's pretty cool. Very similar stuff on the sides. They all have this same kind of shoulder armor, which is pretty cool. She's got the same shield as well, and she's got a nice spear piece, which is just created using one of the gold spires, a lightsaber hilt in the dark grey, and then a brown hole piece. Pretty cool. She also does have double face expression, so I'll take off the mask to show you that. There you go. So she's got a very smiley face one side, and then she has a very stern kind of serious face. She reminds me very much of Lucy from the LEGO Movie 2 kind of face with that. Pretty cool. Taking off all the pieces, you can get a better look at the torso and the printing. Again, really nice. These are all unique, which is really nice to see. Also with the back printing as well. Really nice printing on these characters. Have to say they've gone above and beyond with these. Okay, so now our third and final ninja of this set, we have Hero Lloyd, which is pretty cool. Again, he has the exact same shielding again. Really nice sword with the tassel added on. It's really cool. And again, he has the exact same shoulder piece, and this time obviously everything but in green. So let's take off the helmet first, and I'll show you the facial expressions. Very cool, kind of angry looking, serious facial expression there. And then kind of a more kind of what's happening kind of looking face there. Pretty cool. So I will take off his weaponry so you can get a better look at his torso piece. And here we go, taking a look at his torso again. Really nice printing here. This one reminds me of something like Link or something from Zelda. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, I really like this kind of piece here. It's got lots of leather bands and stuff on this one. Quite nice. This is probably my favourite printing actually of the three. And again, he has a different coloured arm as well with black gloves on. Very cool. And then for our last minifigure of the set, we have this guy. Now he's like an orc looking character, and he's called Mert. And this just reminds me of something out of World of Warcraft or Lord of the Rings. Really cool minifigure. Again, he's got this really nice arm accessory. I don't even know what you would call this. It looks really cool. It looks like it's made out of bone and stuff. It actually looks like you can actually slot a weapon in there. So I believe you could slot Lloyd's sword through that. Let's have a quick look. No, his sword is probably too big. but you can slot stuff through that, so that's quite interesting. Weirdly, it doesn't actually give you anything in the set that would go in there though, so a bit interesting, but quite kind of cool. See, his head piece is really nice with this one stud created with this kind of rubberized tassel on the top. It's got really nice printing, and just removing the shoulder piece again so you can get some better details, but it's got some really nice printing underneath as well. Only one facial expression, but he does have this really nice printed kind of scale looking stuff as well, which just looks awesome. This character is really nice. Would have loved him to have had printed arms to go with that kind of face as well, but he's a very, very cool character nonetheless. Okay, so just before we get into this set itself, there's actually this piece here, which I believe is kind of like your area that you have your character on, maybe if you're playing the game. So you kind of pop your character on there, and that is the, maybe it's the start or something, or what you just have your character kind of your character sheet on, where it's there. You have the hearts that you can take off if you lose a life, or like flip them down so you only got 2 lives and stuff, as well as I believe maybe this is where you collect the swords, as there is this really cool sword here. So nice little piece all in all. It's quite a nice display piece as well. If you had a couple of these, you could display all your ninjas on the shelf with them, and I think they do look very cool. These gold hearts definitely remind me of Legend of Zelda. Okay, so I'll move the minifigures to one side so we can take a better look at the set itself. So the set itself has this really nice, I'll take this off, this kind of, as it's called, Journey to Skull Dungeon. So it has this kind of like journey that you can move all of these around as they're on hinges. Pretty cool. Now, this has a spider here as well on this section, as well as these are sticker pieces, which I believe they're the tiles in which it says just to kind of keep moving, as well as an enemy sticker is what I believe that is, looking at the set, but we'll go through that in a second. Also, it looks like if you fall onto this, this has a button here that you press, and it flips off that piece. So it has a play functionality as well, so maybe that's what that means, you lose a life or something, but we'll have a look at that closer when we get into the actual board game elements. So this piece here is a really nice display piece again. I really do like the look of this. You have this nice rock piece here which you just clipped on to give it some extra detail. Just clipped on with some snot pieces here. It's pretty cool. I like the orange, giving that kind of lava look that it's flowing out. Really nice. I like the build of these steps here, which is pretty neat. That's how you clip on the actual, this bit here, just clips on with these 2 grabbers. Easy to take apart, which is quite nice. Then you've got a pot here with some bones in. Obviously, they're cooking up some human or something, or some animals. Really nice green tassel pieces here to create the fire looking. And then you have this really nice built sword, which I believe is the objective of the game, is to collect these black swords. These are really cool looking. Reminds you of something from like Bleach or something. Really cool. Then here we have a actual rotation, and this moves up the cage over here, moves up and down the cage, which is kind of cool. So that's kind of a nice little build there. And as we go around the back, you can see how that kind of works. It's on this chain piece here that just rotates around. And this is a nice kind of little cage. You can open it up and put someone in there. Pretty cool. Don't know whether that's actually got any function in the board game. Like I said, it doesn't show you anything. There's also a bed here, which is a bit interesting. And it looks like you can actually move your character down here for some reason. So maybe that's to gain a heart or something. But like I said, the board game doesn't show you anything of how to do this. It's also a nice crystal piece here, which I have no idea how that relates to the game. And you've also got these 2 clips here, which I don't believe anything clips to them in the actual set. So really interesting why they're there as well. Maybe it's to clip onto some other sets in the wave. But very, very nice. These pieces up here that are wood are actually sticker pieces. So they're the only other stickers in the set, as well as the actual stickers that show you about on the moving and things like that. So all in all, pretty cool. Okay, so with that said, I'm going to have a go at explaining how I think this actually works with the how it says on the instructions that come with the set. So for some reason, it seems to say that bad guys go on this skull here, which again is a little bit strange because that is what pops off. So I don't know if that just is a play feature or something like that, but I don't quite understand why you would have the enemy actually standing on this plate here. Makes no sense to me at all. But that's what they say anyway. They say to put the actual character on there. And then it says to put the normal characters on these. But I don't understand why, because I believe that the ninjas are supposed to start at the actual bottom. So it's a bit strange. Okay, so one other important piece of this board game is that it actually comes with this. Now, it doesn't explain to you really what this is, but it's actually a dice. And this is a one-built piece. It has a stud at the bottom that you attach, which just makes it easier to spin. but this is a one built kind of dice made just for this game. So what I believe actually happens is that in this game you put your bad guy on the skull sticker, which is here, and then if you actually roll to that amount and get on here, you then roll again to see whether you actually kill him or you take damage. So I believe that this has got the studs at the bottom here, and you pick your character. So I'll say that if I'm using Nia here, they're also quite difficult to get in here. I don't know whether you're supposed to take the weapons off or not, but you can put them in, and then you actually roll the dice. So if I roll this like so, I believe that the one that is at the top is the one that you actually choose. So that says either move 2 spaces or take damage, which if you're against a bad guy, I believe that's what that's for. So if this was me and I just started this, that means that I would go 1, 2, and that would be my turn. If I'd managed to roll a 4, which doesn't actually have on here, so I'd obviously, if I rolled another, it just seems to have 1, 2, or 3. But if I managed to land on a 2 now, I believe it would be 1, 2. And I believe I would have taken damage because the 2 is a skull. Now the other way you could play this game is that if you manage to roll a 2 like that, and then you want to actually face them, you might want to roll again to see if you got a heart or a skull. And again, that was a 2 then, but with a heart. I'm not too sure. That's kind of where it doesn't really tell you how to play the game. So that would probably just be if you want to roll it again, or if you want to say that whichever one it landed on. And then I'm guessing that if you won, you could then pull that in and he would die and you'd carry on to the next bit. So that's how I believe the game is played, and the objective is to get to the very top sticker up here. So if I pull this apart, which is this X, and I believe that with that you then collect the sword, and that kind of allows you to win this level. But I believe that your objective, because this should be a multiplayer game, is to collect all of the swords. So I believe that there's probably 4 swords, because there's 4 ninjas potentially. So I think that each sword, and as you collect it from the level, you would then put it in your pot here to showcase that. And again, if you then lost, you lose a heart like so, and you just pop that down, and that's kind of where you would be on your sheet, which is pretty cool. I quite like how this is done. I think that's very, very stylish and cool. And probably if you had extra ninjas, you could keep 1 ninja on here and 1 ninja in the game as well. But yeah, I think that's how it's played. So there's obviously a lot more to it than that, which is what is displayed on the actual board game, which comes in this absolutely terrible poster. I wish this was like a nicer printed piece than just this kind of poster looking. This is going to get damaged by children very, very quickly, so I'm a bit disappointed in how this is. But taking a closer look at the game here, so as I've explained, this set is 171717, so I believe this set actually goes here, and it actually lines up with these bricks here. So I believe it's like that, and then you would have the actual game, that round bit going onto there, like so. And I believe that the ninjas start in the center here, which is where Ninjago is, and then each of these, I'm guessing, is represented as a sticker in the levels. Now, I haven't got any of these stickers, so I don't know what these do, but looking at the back of the instructions, the actual explainer, which is what I was kind of referring to, it states here, obviously that's the X for winning. It states that you put the bad guys on the actual skull one. Now this I think just means to move. I don't believe that the ninjas start on there. I think that would be really silly because one of the ninjas literally starts 4 steps away on my set here, which is a bit strange. But like I said, it says you roll the dice to move. They are the distance points, like I said. And then here it says that that's an encounter when you get to them. So here it kind of does say roll it again, whether you get a skull or a heart or not. Like I said, if you get a skull, you lose a life. If you get a heart, you instantly kill the bad guy. And then why I believe that the actual symbols on the other side are different things is because this is obviously for the bigger castle, and it has this swirly thing here. And I think if you land on that, it swirls it around. So that might be what you have to do in order to actually progress through the level. So that's where I think these sections come in, and you have to work together and actually get one character to kind of work around to this swirl over here, which seems to line up to that set, and I believe that set's here. So I think these squares here are all turns as well. So as you roll, it would be, oops, I actually turned it upside down. You would get 3, which would mean that you'd walk 1, 2, 3. And I think you have to go into these kind of areas here in order to get things to move and rotate from different levels. So you obviously have, down here, you have the kind of ball one, which I believe is a set. You have the dragon over here, which is a skull dragon. And like I said, you have this here, which I believe is the biggest skull dungeon. So I think that's what these are. But again, I can't confirm because I don't own all of the sets and there's no instructions on how to play this game. So that's how I believe it's played. And I believe that realistically, in order to play the full board game, you have to have all of the sets, which is a little bit sad, but I probably expect that, you know, you could play just this set here if you wanted to, but it's not going to be very, very entertaining with like 5 steps in which to actually gain. So I think that's the one kind of drawback to this dungeon set, in my opinion, is the fact that you have to have multiple of the actual set in order to play the game. It also says on the back of the box that you can actually buy 2 of one set in order to make it even bigger. So that's very interesting in and of itself, because it's saying that you get all of these sets to create that one set. I don't know how that kind of adds up, because like again on the back it says that 17122 is actually in its own corner and 17177 is in a different corner. So they just haven't really explicitly said how this game kind of marries up at all. It's very, very strange. But I think you can probably, if you got all the sets, you probably don't even really need the board game, because I think you would play it as it's meant to be played potentially, which is without the poster. And I think the poster might just be if you are actually don't have all the sets and you just want to play with the sets that you have. Okay, so what are my thoughts on the set as a whole? I actually really, really like this set. I think it looks really cool. And I do really like the idea of the board game. But I do think that it's insanely expensive for these sets if you bought the entire wave and you still don't know how to play the game. So I really do think LEGO need to bring out the instructions on how to actually play this game, because a lot of people like me and a lot of other people are guessing how you play this game. There are actually no videos online or on YouTube on anyone knowing how to play this. So I just think that it's a bit of disappointment, because I think this kind of gameplay ability is what would actually raise the level of these Ninjago sets. I love these kind of unique pieces and ideas that they've kind of created to create more of a Dungeons and Dragons kind of aspect, and I think that's absolutely amazing. But I think that this is really, really getting let down by the fact that we don't know what these sets are actually, how you play the game, which I just think is really, really sad. If you enjoyed the vid, then if you haven't already, please like and subscribe, as it really helps out the channel. And as always, keep bricking it.